Method. This is another episode, and today we're talking with the Austin musician, but he's about to be worldwide. I guarantee you guys. You know, I'm so excited to have my good friend here, Billie Blunt. You know, he's a phenomenal guitarist. He's a producer. We're going to get into what else he really can do in the music industry. But thank you so much, Billie, man, for coming to the KeyZ Method.
Man, thank you for having me.
Man, so we got a lot to dive into, man. Like I really want to get into your story of just how you've really just blossomed here, especially 2020, during just the pandemic, the quarantine season, and you figured out a way to excel as a musician, as a producer, you know, releasing music. So let's just before we even get into this, like, how did you set yourself up beforehand and even picking up a guitar, or was that your first instrument, and or how did you dive into music?
Man, really, I wanted to be a drummer, but my dad was cheap, so instead of a drum set, he gave me a guitar. But I guess it was the right decision after all. But that might have been around like age 9. I had a little guitar. My mom took me to these lessons. Probably did maybe a couple of months of those, but then I didn't touch it again until 12. I'm a church baby, so they learned I played guitar, and next thing I know, I'm playing in the church. And musicians know church is where most musicians learn how to play instruments if they weren't in like jazz school or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's where them beats come from, out of church.
Yeah. I mean, that's where the soul come from. I mean, gospel and R&B are the same thing, except R&B is about sex. But you know what I'm saying? But I played guitar growing up in my church. Then I got to college in Belton, at Mary Hardin Baylor. I did a lot of music in Killeen. Met up with some dope musicians who pretty much taught me how to play. And
that's Texas still, right?
Yeah. It's about an hour north of Austin. But yeah, they pretty much taught me how to play. I played at church with them played at a church with them there. Then we started a jazz band called Distinguished Sounds. Shout out to my guys. So yeah, they pretty much taught me how to play. Played in that band for about 3 years. Did a lot of stuff like Elephant Room. Good times. Then got back to Austin. That's when I really started to pick up beats and just like learning how to produce. How do you make a song? Like what makes a good beat? What makes a great beat? What makes a bad beat? Like learning what not to do and all that. But I just ended up meeting a lot of great people out here in Austin. Yeah. And it really started maybe back 2017. I started playing with an artist here named Aless.
Right on, sure.
And dope R&B act. And yeah, after that, it was just like connection after connection after connection after connection, just a big old snowball effect. And crazy. After all of that, Corona hits. So like this last South by Southwest, it was about to be nuts. Like I had 9 gigs on the calendar.
Because Corona, that hit like literally like March the 14th, South by started the music portion or something like that. And then I know Corona or the mayor or somebody, they shut it down like March the 13th.
Yeah, dude.
I remember it was like the day before, man. Like everybody's like, all right, are we having shows? Are we?
Yeah. Like nobody really knew. And like there was a bunch of talks on Twitter about like, okay, we just gonna make South by Southwest local, how it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that still would have been cool, but then like them cases just started spiking and spiking.
So tell the audience. I mean, for those who may not know, like, tell them a little bit what is South by Southwest and why is that such a big deal for so many musicians and artists around the world.
It's basically everybody, a whole bunch of people from both the tech scene and the music scene come to Austin for a week respectively, one for tech and one for music. And it's just concerts all the time. Then it's panels. It's basically a huge networking opportunity for many musicians, producers, artists, because everybody's in one city for that next week. You know what I'm saying? So during that week, I had 9 gigs lined up, all out the window. And one, that's a big source of income because some of those checks were hefty. Another is like, man, those are a lot of networking opportunities I would have missed at that time too.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. I mean, just even man, 9 opportunities, and it's a lot of marketing guys, just music industry guys. I mean,
Mhm.
it's that's a lot of opportunities for people to see you and the band,
Yeah, like
perform.
yeah, like musicians, producers, we're always playing chess.
Hmm.
Like that South by Southwest move, like yeah, one of those gigs might have gave me like just a little bit of money, but the people that I would have met there,
You would
that's
have
a
got more money for for the
exactly
months
that's
to
a
come and going into the rest of
that's a great long term investment right there. You
right
know what I mean?
relationships. I mean, so can you talk a little bit about that? I mean, just being in the music industry for, I mean, working. How big is networking and relationships? How has that helped you, or
I mean,
does that help, or does that hurt?
I would say at the beginning it hurt because I didn't really know how to network. I'm an introvert, so like going out of my way to like meet new people it was like foreign to me at the time. But
I never would have thought you would be an introvert.
yeah, I stay in the house. I stay in the house, listen to music, solo, all that.
Welcome to the family. That's me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like I just be by myself most of the time. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. After a certain point musically, like it just becomes more who you know, which is like kind of crazy to say because music is always a constant learning process. Like
Right.
the minute you feel you're plateauing, you're probably doing something wrong because there's always something new, always something bigger to learn. But if you know everything, but you don't know anybody to help you get that into the right people's hands, I mean, you're not really doing much. That's not going. That's not going to bring you. It's not going to bring you fans. It's not going to bring you. It's not going to bring you a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
you have to have a good network.
Right. You're saying, I guess for the guys that are listening as well, it's like you figured out that the music, it also has that second word to it, the music business.
Exactly.
And the business is, it might be bigger than the music sometimes.
I mean, it's why like you might finish an album in 2 days, but like, or not 2 days, like you might like record everything to an album in like 2 weeks, but that's not gonna see the light of day for another 9 months.
Right.
Like, forget about the mixing and the mastering portion of it. Like they're gonna have a marketing strategy on top of that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, music is a long game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and let's talk about that. I mean, because you set yourself up in the live field by networking, and I mean, shout out to Aless, and I mean, just to speak about her for a minute, I think was it last year she did also another big festival outside of South by before the virus. Was she on South ACL?
Yeah, we did ACL.
You did ACL too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, tell about that. Tell us about ACL. What is ACL? Well, for those that don't know, ACL is another huge music festival. I don't know if it's probably one of the biggest. I don't know if it's a pretty big festival. I don't know. It might be.
It's pretty dang big.
One of the top 5 music festivals that we have here in the United States. But so y'all had a moment on stage at ACL. So how was that experience?
It was my first like big, well, quote unquote big concert like that. I mean, I've been playing guitar for a while, so it wasn't like nervousness getting on there, but like it being your
them
first,
subs hit a little different on that big stage.
Like them sound engineers know what they doing. That light hits you a little different when you actually
hit a
up
little
there.
different on them big stages.
Yeah, but like even then, like musicians, we're playing chess. Like after the gig, we're like, all right, who can I link up with after this? Who can I see? Who can I really network through this? You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I met a couple of people out there. Unfortunately, I had to actually go out of town, so I only caught about a day and a half of it. But yeah, all of these big festivals, they're big networking opportunities.
I think that's a huge opportunity. And shout out to ACL, C3, and all those guys to put on the ACL festival and just to give opportunity for Austin. Austin has some of the best and finest musicians and artists around the world. I don't know if everybody knows that or if Austin gets enough credit about it. We are, titled the live music capital of the world, but there's a lot of musicians, and hopefully that's why on the KeyZ Method, I'm trying to expose some of these guys who don't get enough justice or enough due. Not saying they're not out there, because they definitely are out there, but hopefully it could just shine the light on maybe 1 or 2 people who don't know about them, because Austin is I don't know another city that has so many musicians that are really dedicated to the music. Like, I mean, like you said, I mean, it's the music business, but I've seen so many musicians in Austin really go through the fire just to present good music, you know.
I mean, this is a city that thrives on live music. Like, you're not gonna go anywhere in the city without seeing live music, and that's from all types of acts. Like, you'll see like just your black music. You're gonna see your white music around here too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody loves them. Everybody loves the music. So it's just baked into the culture here.
What's some of your inspirations? Who do you listen to for inspiration?
I'm a rap nerd. Kendrick above all. Like, yeah, there's nobody nothing can tell me to tell me that Kendrick ain't the GOAT. But aside from that, like, I'm a neo soul baby. My mom was in the house listening to Earth, Wind and Fire and Stevie Wonder all the time. And I didn't realize it until like I started playing with that jazz band I was talking about when I was in college. A whole bunch of Stevie Wonder was on the set. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's this. And I'm like, how do I know how to play this? You know what I mean? Then like I'm going back and just recalling from when I'm a kid. Like, my mom was playing My Cherie Amour all the time when I was a kid. So that's just like engraved in me.
Yeah, it's in your bloodline.
Yeah. But my mom's also a singer. So it's a big little cheat code there.
So you come from a musical family then?
A little bit, yeah. It's not like a huge musical family, but there's a lot of
they had rhythm.
Yeah. It's in our blood. But my mother, she was an opera singer. So
nice.
Yeah, she has a master's from UT for vocal pedagogy. So she's a music teacher.
I always say, you can't just fake Oprah. You can't, you got to have some type of technique to hit some of them notes the way they hit them.
And it's just like control.
Yeah.
Everything is calculated. Even their vibrato was calculated. You know what I mean?
You're going to be hoarse for about 3 days.
Yeah, for real. But she plays keys and sings. My brother, he's a pretty dang good clarinet player. We've got a couple of singers throughout the family, but really that's it. Like, there's just that one little musical pool.
Nice. So, I mean, you've done these live shows. What's been like your biggest show you think so far? Or not the biggest show, but like what's one show that stood out the most to you? Was it ACL or was it another show you think?
Just in general, like before Rona and everything?
Yeah, before. Or during. Maybe it's been a cool show during. I don't know.
Well, there've been a couple cool shows, but like my best, or not the best one, but like my most memorable one is I played with Xavier Omar. So we actually did a Somerset House for selection back in July of 2019 out in London. Okay. So that was my first time out the country. And it just so happened to be for work. Thankful for those guys.
It's nice to get paid to go out the country for the first time.
Ain't it? Like, for
music.
Yeah, like you're going out there having fun. We had a couple of days to like kick it and everything. But at the end of the day, we still there for work.
Right.
Again,
yeah.
That's a big old networking opportunity. Like, yeah.
So it seemed like you've kind of like noticed the moment and lived in the moment enough to enjoy yourself, but also realize, okay, to do this for a living, there's business inside. Once I get off a stage, have my business hat on, and
because like at the end of the day, like I'm trying to make this one of my absolute primary sources of income. Because like unless you really got a plan, you really getting it, you're not getting that much money.
Right.
So like at the end of the day, we still there for work. So yeah, work got to get done. Ain't nobody gonna do it for me.
I think that's an awesome mindset. Just to, I mean, and talk about like what does it take, for guys that are coming up, learning their craft. Like what does it take to to play on ACL, to get in the band with Aless Alani, or to go on tour in London, because that takes a lot of responsibility. You got to catch a flight, and ain't nobody giving you an alarm clock and telling you to go to bed. So don't expect nobody to have an alarm clock and tell you to get up in the morning as well. Yeah. So what do you think it takes, just extra little one or two things it takes to kind of be a professional outside of your talent? You think?
There's a lot of professionalism, to sum it up. Like, before you get to rehearsals, know your music already. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so don't learn it at the rehearsal. Is that what you're telling me? We're not learning music when we get there?
I mean, you're a musician too. You'd be surprised. But I mean, like, it's not even like you absolutely have to go in there knowing every part, because that is what a rehearsal is for. But like, go in there knowing what changes are coming.
Right.
Like, know the set. Like, already have some ideas to come up with to show them. Be on time for sound checks. Like, make sure you're there, because like that can leave a good or a bad impression. Like, after a gig, like,
for a manager or whoever.
Yeah,
right?
because like you might have smashed. You might have just like murdered it on stage, but shoot, you showed up 5 minutes before you played. It's not too good of a look if you're meeting somebody for the first time.
Sure.
And again, it's all about that network. Like, that person might be, I don't like to use the word golden ticket, but they might be somebody that can take you to the next level. Like,
Right.
you might have just stepped all over that opportunity by your lack of professionalism. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'd say that's the biggest part outside of just like musical ability.
And because it's a chain thing, there's frequencies in the music industry, and the higher you go up, the frequency might get a little smaller. Think of like a funnel or something.
Mm-hmm.
But either whatever frequency you're on, one person, like you said, there's not one gatekeeper, so everybody's chained together. So the thing is, when you're on a frequency trying to work your way up in the music industry, people talk. So, even if you're, at the top or at the bottom of the frequency in the middle, it really doesn't matter. Like, the principles are still the same, because if I'm talking to you and you be like, hey, how's this guy right here? He has a good look. I'm trying to hire somebody in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
You might be like, well, I got 3 recommendations.
Exactly.
And all of them can play the same.
Exactly.
All of them can play really, really good. But this guy, he might show up 5 minutes late. So if you have any, or 5 minutes before, so if you have any changes you want to make in the music, not saying he can't handle the changes, he just won't be there on time to get the information. So that might cause a difference in him going to London and him not going to, and that same principle at the bottom, at the top, in the middle, I think that kind of follows everywhere.
It really does, because like, say like you might be, in terms of physical, in terms of like musical ability, like you might be one of the best musicians in your city, but there might be another guy getting all the gigs because he's way more of a professional than somebody else.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how you keep the gigs. That's how you keep getting paid.
Right.
So.
Yeah, definitely, guys. So, I mean, you're working at home, working on your craft. I mean, kudos to that, man. Like, definitely keep working. But definitely spend some time and learn the business. But also, when you start getting the opportunities, be professional, man. That definitely goes a long way. And if you want to be in the game for a long time, if you just want to make a quick lick and probably just, be in and out the game in a short amount, I mean, just do you. Like, that'll probably work great. Mm-hmm. But if you want to stick around, for 10, 20, 30 years in around the music community, trust me, definitely be professional. Your name definitely gets around.
100%. And like the best, like to this day, like the best type of networking is word of mouth networking.
Oh yeah.
If you got a good reputation, you set.
Yeah, I'm not a big time music, producer, nothing like that. But I haven't had to promote getting business in 10 years. It's just the word of mouth is enough out there that people know what they're going to get, and they know I'm going to treat you good. I'm going to treat you right. Absolutely. Good production, the best, give you 100%. So that's definitely facts right there. So let's talk about how you transition also into the music production game, because I mean, you got just, man, every time I get on social media, everybody's just buzzing about your new project, man. Like, what's your new project called right now that you have out, your beat tape?
It's called Sessions. It's a hip hop inspired beat tape, album, EP, whatever you're gonna call it. It's some music, just a little 8-piece extra crispy beat tape.
That's that organic shit right there. He's like, man, I don't even know what it is, man. It's just the EP is, man. That's sometimes when it's like your best stuff. You just like, man, I was just felt it. I was living in the, like, how did it come about? Like, what? Talk me through the process, because but the success you getting, man, like, it just didn't come overnight. Like, how did the inspiration come from?
So like, I post a lot of videos on social media, and they're primarily me like just playing guitar for some beats I made or doing like a beat video.
So just freestyling over some beats, or
sometimes freestyled, sometimes calculated.
oh, okay.
But yeah, I do a lot of those. So let me preface that with I was going back to an old beat I made maybe like 2018, just this banger trap beat. Then I put a little switch up in it, and it was real musical, and I played some guitar over it. So that ended up being the intro. So a couple weeks later, I got on Twitter and I made a beat video, just of me shedding over a beat that I had made. It went viral, like 2,000 likes or so, and there were some people asking like, "Man, is there going to be a full version of this?" So I was like, "Man, I ain't got nothing to lose. I might as well just go for it." You know what I'm saying? And ended up being some of the best stuff I've ever made, and I learned a lot through the process first and foremost. Like, I definitely feel like I became a better producer by doing that.
Really?
Yeah, like it challenged me. You know what I'm saying? Like it makes you get out the box because you don't want every single track to sound exactly the same, but you still want it to be cohesive. Like that's the type of stuff that I was learning through the process, and you don't really learn that through but only through experience. You know what I'm saying?
So it's a straight instrumental, all instrumentals, no vocals on it.
Yeah, it's like it's think of 10 words and they're on my beat they're on my beat tag. So yeah, a lot of guitars.
So I mean, so that project has picked up. Like I said, I mean, every time. I mean, it probably hasn't been a day gone by since you released it. And I don't. Has it been a month yet? But I know it got picked up on some playlists as well for Spotify. Was it Apple Music or something like that?
Apple Music actually. One of my songs actually got on an official Apple Music playlist and has been blowing up ever since. So that's a blessing.
Yeah, I know. It's like, man, you sent me the. When you came by the studio today, you was like, man, I was like, how's your music going? It was like, man, it's going pretty good. And I was like, woo, man, I think that's awesome, man. I think it's just also how, you was able to take, this pandemic and you could have folded. I mean, you could have easily been like, man, they're not hiring.
Yeah.
Gigs are shut down. I've lost, I'm not playing live. It's nothing I could do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it hurt, but creators gonna create at the end of the day. Like, they gonna find a way. Like, 3 weeks after Corona hit, you started seeing the live shows pop up. And I mean, I've made a lot of connections in the city. Like, started getting these acoustic shows going. And
how's it different now through the shows? I mean, obviously ACL. I mean, that's thousands and thousands of people with flags, and it's just to see. Yeah. You want to jump in the crowd. Like, that's my first thing I think of. It's like, okay, this is the day I want to jump. I'm gonna experience jumping in the crowd. But then now you have the virus. COVID hit. So I mean, you're playing out doing shows now, right? Live again, like a little bit, or so. How are the venues different? Like, how is anything different, or
it's very weird because they have to be able to adhere to the CDC guidelines about social distancing. Like, you can't just have 200 people in there with no mask standing up. Like, they have to be able to handle spreading out, sitting at tables, which is actually a pretty cool thing. Except, when you've seen a crowd of 500, like in the middle, seeing that same 500 spread out's a little different.
The energy is missing a little bit.
Yeah, and everybody's sitting down enjoying their meals and drinking. I mean, you can tell they're enjoying it, but you're used to them mosh pitting. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the energy's a little different, but I mean, I love playing music. So if that's what I got to do right now, hey, that's what I'm gonna do.
So has it been any cool shows now, man? Because I know they do. I talked to somebody else and they're doing like drive-through shows or what's it called?
They're doing like a drive-in show right now.
Yeah, drive-in shows and pre-recorded shows. I mean,
yeah. So like with the drive-ins, those are actually pretty cool because it's pretty much the closest to feeling like real. Like,
when you say drive-in, so it's like the old movies where people drive in, or like
a little bit, yeah. Like, it's just a big old open space. People bring their cars. They'll get like a little section, and you can just chill outside your car. I mean, it's a good way to handle social distancing.
Okay.
The ticket price is jacked up because they gotta recoup on the
right,
like 75% of the people that they're missing. But I mean, big stage. You can still hear the people coming.
Yeah.
They're it's kind of funny. Instead of cheering, a lot of people they're already in their cars, they honking. So yeah, that's probably the coolest one I've done from this pandemic. We did one with the Emerald Soul, another R&B artist, super dope.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been pretty cool.
So that's cool, man. I'm glad to see that you're staying busy and doing well for yourself, man, in 2020. And I only see it going up from here. And like I said at the beginning of this whole conversation, man, I think it's only a matter of time before, this whole world just knows who Billie Blunt is.
God willing. God willing, bro.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely going to happen, man. So tell them, is there anything else now that you're working on in the future or anything we can expect going into the next year?
A lot of music. Got a lot of production for many artists all over Texas.
I've heard some. Yeah.
Word.
Well, I haven't heard the music. I've heard some of the artists you work with. Who you working with? Can you tell who you?
Yeah. It's a dude out of Houston named Dende. The dude's next. Emerald Soul out of Austin. She next too. We both got a bunch of stuff in the tuck. Got some stuff with Alicia Alani.
Nice.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So
I had Paris on here too. You got some stuff with her. I heard too. Like.
Oh yeah.
Man, you out here working, man. You working, man. You staying busy, man. And that's a nugget for you guys out there. That means you need to be staying busy because this music industry, it's fun, but it's the survival of the fittest out here.
Like something that I've had to like keep in my mind is that it's always gonna be somebody working harder than you. So if you slack, you're gonna fall behind.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Somebody want the spot that you in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. It's a friendly competition.
Absolutely.
I tell people it's not a competition, but musical chairs. Y'all laugh when you go around that chair. Somebody want that chair.
Yeah, like I grew up playing basketball, so like it's like a friendly competition. Like
push each other. Yeah,
I'm trying to be the best on the court. I'm trying to see you eat too. I'm still trying to be better than you. You know what I'm saying? And it's all love at the end of the day. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
It just kind of pushes us all to grow.
Right.
I mean, you kind of got to be like humble enough to handle that too.
Yeah.
Like some people will take that and it'll quickly turn into like competitive ego with each other. And that's one thing I'm really like thankful to Austin about. Like the community of musicians, everybody's just cool. Like it's not a lot of people like that out here.
Right.
Like we all know that we have our areas that we're good in, and there's things that we can learn from each other. And we shed together.
Yeah.
Just make dope music, and that's one thing that kind of makes Austin's music seem pretty good.
Yeah, that definitely is, man. Definitely leave the ego at the door. Just bring the talent.
It just makes it easier and fun to work with people because like music is vibes, man. Like, I've met some of my best friends from music.
Yeah.
And
facts.
Yeah,
definitely, man. Well, I definitely see you, like I said, playing with just, definitely around town and see you and your music just now, streaming and on these playlists, man. Definitely, once again, proud to see you doing your thing this year, man.
Thank you, bro. It's been a lot of good that's
proud
happening.
of you, man. I don't know, man. I just still. Oh, let's forgot to even talk about this, man. There's so much music and going on, man. We actually did a song.
Oh yeah.
About a week ago. Look at that. Slipped my mind. A week ago, we did a song with the artist out of New York, Jersey, called Aless. The song called Freak, and
Fire.
Man, you laced just the guitars on that track, man.
Appreciate that.
That was. I could definitely hear that R&B, that soul.
Yeah.
Because it was definitely perfect for that record, man. And so the process what happened to this with this record, I had started on a production with this artist named Aless, and the record was kind of done. Me and my production partner, Omen, shout out to him. And man, I was like, it's just missing something. And in my head, I was like, it's nothing else I could do. It's like everything I did with the record, it was just kind of interfering with the flow of the record. And man, I sent it to you, and I was like, we had worked on some stuff before, so I was like, I was really like, man, Billy, save me, man, save me. And man, you definitely brought it to life, man. And Man, I hope I'll leave a link in the description below with that too for y'all to check out, man. So that, I mean, it was a fun record, and it just shows your versatility of, you know, the style of artist you can play with, to the production that you can do on your beat tape, to, you know, somebody gives you a phone call and you're able to, you know, answer the bell and really elevate, add to it. And I think that's a special skill that, you know, a lot of people, especially producers, have to develop. It's not just about, hey, I can add a snare, I can add this instrument. It's like, man, can you add something that elevate what we already have? And
I think that's something I've like learned, like as a musician, as a producer, like there's got to be something about your game that stands out. Like one thing I learned over the pandemic is like, man, I got a home setup. I can just track guitar stems from the crib,
right?
Because like you gonna find a way. Bills got to get paid, so you gonna find a way. But yeah, like through that, it helped me grow with like getting digital guitar tones. Because like I'm not trying to have that. I'm not trying to mic my amp every time I'm trying to do that. Just trying to plug and play. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, it's got to find ways to grow.
What do you think about musicians playing online? Because you've been able to play online and kind of build a social media following. Has that helped you? Because you got an endorsement deal as well this year. That with a huge guitar company, right?
Yeah, D'Angelico Guitars. Shout out, y'all.
Shout out.
Yeah, but yeah,
that was the studio can use some now, but I'm just playing. But yeah, so how did that happen? I mean,
social media.
Yeah,
like I'll say like social media holds like such a big presence to like networking, because like Instagram might as well be a business card at this point. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So like I had posted one of those videos that I was talking about, and they actually reposted it. So I was like, oh snap, that's huge. Like I gained a bunch of followers off of it. Like, you know, people started to know who I am, like what I could do on the guitar a little bit.
Right.
So after that, I was in a session, and there's a phenomenal singer and guitar player named Ricky Duran. He was actually on The Voice, but you were doing a session with him, and he saw my D'Angelico and he asked me if I was endorsed, and I was like, no. And he's like, yeah, you should do that. What you doing? So he just pushed me to send it in. And they hit me back a few days later.
Wow.
So yeah,
man, the music and your talent spoke for itself. Cause I done sent the endorsement one time. They hit me back like, "Nah, son, you gonna have to come back. We'll have to come back." But then I hit them back again a couple years later, and I got it. So
yeah, you gotta have your credentials up.
Gotta have your credentials together, man. Well, that's dope, man. Yeah. So proud to have you with that endorsement deal. Are you enjoying? So you are you using their brand, I guess, when you play and just record, and your production as well, just all types of stuff, huh?
Yeah, they're my main brand. I've got 4 of them now.
Nice.
But crazy. That first one I got, that's a whole story within itself. So like, for the guitar players, I'm a Strat guy at first, but I really wanted a 335 style guitar. So I was in this guitar shop called Austin Guitar House. So I was helping this dude test out an amp, because he just said like he liked the way I play. I was playing a 335 in there, so he just wanted me to play on a Marshall, helped him get a sound for it, how it really sound. Dude found me on my BeatStars account later that day and said he got this old boutique guitar laying around and he wanted to give it to me. So like at first I'm thinking, now what's really going on? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I met with him. Dude just gave me the guitar. He told me, I don't care what you do with it, but you'll probably do better work with it than I would. So I flipped it for the D'Angelico. And man, here we are today.
Man,
an endorsement and 4 D'Angelicos later. So.
Man, that's quite a story right there, man. I hope that encourage, anybody, any guitar players or anybody up and coming musicians. If you're playing the piano, I have a piano course, KeyZ Time Online. But any of you guys, starting out, man, the journey, it's a journey, and you'll be amazed what kind of blessings, you'll run across if you just move your feet and just do all these little principles that we talked about, treating people good, being on time, just working on your craft, and, finding ways to to overcome obstacles, man. You know.
You got to, or else it's gonna be left behind. It's tough out here.
Right.
Like, you really got to work your tail off. And shoot, I ain't where I want to be, but I'm gonna keep working till I get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, man. So hopefully you're working at home, and definitely connect with us, and definitely follow Billie on social media, and we'll love to help you and continue inspiring you. Tell the folks where they can find you online, or
yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, at Billoquacious, BILLOQUACILUS. So yeah, I'm pretty active on Twitter. I like to joke.
All right, definitely. I'm gonna leave some links below, guys. So, hey, man, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for watching this whole episode. Until next time, I hope you subscribe. Y'all stay creative. Peace.
Deuces.
It's KeyZ time.